on this very special episode of Power Rankings, we're going to have 14 teams because of playoffs, and this just pains me even more.
It's already bad enough when we had to put 10 in the top 10. Welcome back to the James and Dame Show. I'm Josiah.
And I'm Will.
And today we're going over Week 18.
Week 18.
Yeah.
Final week of football.
Regular season football.
Yeah.
So, like already mentioned in the intro, we're going to go over all of the teams that are in the playoffs right now that have been secured, locked down. There's a few of them that I don't want to rank in here because we already know how bad they are, or we kind of assume what's going to happen. Nah, you know what it is. But we can just start right away and just start at number 14 here. I think it's pretty unanimous across the board right now who is number 14. The Carolina Panthers.
Are we?
That's my number 14. I'm just saying that I think it's pretty unanimous who's at the bottom.
I guess I'll go into my number 14. It's also the Carolina Panthers because, hey, they make a great wild card team. Like,
they do.
Some weeks they're like absolutely, you get in by losing.
Yeah.
To the Buccaneers in ugly fashion, but at the same time, they have the potential to beat the Rams, beat the Packers. But they can put up fights with a lot of these teams still. So
True.
We don't know what they're gonna do. They made
chaotic.
The playoffs.
Yeah, they are very chaotic.
It's up to the world to see what they do now, but they're not pretty by any chance, and by no means really are a playoff team, but they're in the playoffs, and they're going to get a chance to see what they can do. So,
I think, in argument's sake, for number 13, I'm just going to be killed for this. I have the Packers here.
Oh, interesting.
You cannot tell me that without Micah Parsons and a couple other, significant players and how bad they've been recently, that they're going to make a push in the playoffs. Like a deep run.
I mean, it's a long shot, but matched up with the Bears, I think they have a chance because it's a division game. You're playing a divisional opponent.
At Soldier Field.
But at Soldier Field, yes, and they did just lose. But the way I look at this is, I mean, again, like I have my view. Packers, I don't view them as like Super Bowl favorites by any chance.
No, not anymore. They were at the beginning of the season when they had Parsons. Without Parsons,
even like a few weeks ago, but yeah, they have not quite looked like themselves. I do have a different take on who my number 13 is, but I can kind of see it, especially because again lately it's been kind of iffy on their side. But
I just don't trust them
as they've rested some guys. My number 13, I actually have the Pittsburgh Steelers here.
Why is that?
Game against the Ravens.
Sorry.
It's really difficult and a heartbreaking game for me to watch. It was really difficult to decide what was the Steelers doing well and the Ravens not doing so well. I will say it's not the best judge because DK Metcalf wasn't there. He's going to be coming back, so that should help them. But they just, they've had a little bit of confidence boosts throughout the year where they look like maybe they could do something, and obviously playoffs going to be a little bit different. Like maybe we see a playoff Rodgers that is different, but it's just their O line isn't good. The running game's gotten a bit better, that's for sure. Their defense sometimes is kind of hit or miss where they can be really good, but sometimes they're just like the Ravens had like 4 plays on offense, 4 or 5 plays on offense where they actually did something. The rest of the game, they were pretty shut down, but those 4 or 5 plays almost lost them the game.
This is true.
And that is frustrating for Steelers fans. And just doesn't spark a lot of confidence in me. And I think they're the most shallow team. They're not the worst team, but I think they're the most shallow. Where I think you can run through them metaphorically and physically and literally. But the teams above them, like they're not themselves, but they just have a little bit more to them.
All right, so for number 12, this is where I have the Steelers. With DK Metcalf coming back, a little bit better of a chance now in the playoffs. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, the Steelers are going to get to the wild card and probably get bounced. They are playing the Texans, who, in my opinion, are a better team. You're fighting an uphill battle, but home field advantage, maybe? I don't know. Then again, Aaron Rodgers hasn't. He's a sucker who won't just go down, especially without a fight. So I don't know. I have a little bit more confidence in them at this point, but yay, over 500 season, barely.
My number 12, I actually have the Eagles here.
Interesting.
The Eagles, man, their defense is great. And yeah, their defense is great.
Yeah, that's about
Over
it.
the year, they started figuring out how to get yards, but they haven't figured out how to not get out of their own way on offense. And that's
Yes.
still where I have this concern is AJ Brown's getting yards. Saquon has had some pretty big games. And games where Saquon does well, they tend to do pretty well on offense. But that's still not consistent, and it has cost them a lot of games this year. And the offense is such a mess that despite what the defense does, come playoff time, that offense needs to actually get it together. And I don't know that I have the faith in that Eagles offense this year, especially when you're going against the Robert Saleh 49er defense. They might get 3 points that game, and it's just not gonna be like it's hard to say, but if they can't get anything going on offense, this team is gonna be in trouble, and that's why I don't see them having that. They haven't had a consistently good offense or consistently any level of efficient offense,
No.
and yes, defense wins championships, but you know, this is a stretch. So
All right, so at number 11, this is where I have the Eagles. Uh, you kind of encapsulated pretty much everything about the Eagles. There's nothing really noteworthy besides the fact that offense is just terrible at times. He's got no idea what he's doing. Um, the fact that Sirianni and Patullo haven't been on the hot seat like as much as they should be recently, a little concerning. Then again, they did win their division back-to-back years, first time since what 2004, 2006, whatever it was. It's over 20 years.
I think
So
it's 2002.
2002, something like that, yeah. But
I think so.
like, they should be more. inspiring on offense, especially with all that talent they have there. But they just don't do anything with it. It just kind of feels the same way like the Lions are doing right now, where they have all that offensive talent. Where'd it go? I haven't seen it. Have you seen it? So like, it's just
No, it's
they're disappointing.
it's just frustrating.
It's very frustrating.
So frustrating.
Especially since you have Saquon Barkley back there, who has won you a Super Bowl. Well, wasn't the sole reason for it, but he's the one who got you.
Yeah,
there.
it was more the defense.
He's the reason,
or in that game at least.
He's one of the major contributors to why they got there, and I haven't seen him.
That is for sure.
I've not seen him all season, so I'm a little concerned about that. So
yeah,
that's where I have the Eagles.
At number 11, I don't know if this is really going to come as any surprise. I have the Packers. It's not great. Again, these bottom four just don't feel good to be in a power rankings video, but the Packers, they're like, to me, the most complete team of these teams. You do lack a lot of pass rush without Micah Parsons. Jordan Love and the offense are like hit and miss. They started to get a groove with Christian Watson when he was back, and like when they're healthier, they are a scary team, but they're just so wishy-washy. I do think that of these bottom four teams, I think they pose the biggest threat, especially just like as a wild card team.
No,
I think they pose one of the bigger threat. Well, actually, I say that. No, I take that back. They definitely aren't the team with the biggest threat, as we'll probably get to that more later. But they're kind of a sneaky team. Like, we could see them look like they did a couple years ago when they snuck in as the 7th seed with a very similar record a few years ago in Jordan Love's first year.
Yeah.
And when they upset the Cowboys as the 2 seed. Like, they could be a sneaky. They're kind of that like sneaky good team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not the best, but it's there. That's kind of what the Packers are. Is like, it's not the best, but it's a team that could make a run.
At number 10, this is where I have the Chargers. With injuries and concern that Herbert is going to die in the pocket, it's not that I don't trust them. I'm concerned about how much pressure Herbert's going to be under and how banged up he's going to be. I don't know if he can keep up with that, especially if he goes against a really good team. Obviously, the Chargers are playing the Patriots, so it's going to be a bit difficult, but it's still possible. I still think they can. Wait, do I have that right?
Yeah, they're playing the Patriots.
Yeah, okay. I had a brain fart there for a second. But basically, Chargers, they are good. I just don't understand why Herbert hasn't died yet, especially with how quickly that O-line has been shattered to pieces. But either we see one of these teams are going to get exposed. It's either the Patriots are going to get exposed or the Chargers are going to get completely destroyed. I don't know which one. So we can talk about that more.
Yeah. My number 10 is also going to be the Chargers. I like the Chargers. I like what they're building. I like Harbaugh. But missing your only, like, by, like, PFF grades, like, 2 only good linemen to injury all year. I mean, you're going against the Patriots, which your run game is probably not going to be super effective. But, like, this Chargers team, I think more than anything this season is just a mark of resilience. Last year, you were looking for promise. You got promise. This year, this is a mark of resilience, as where you had a lot of challenges, and you still managed to defy all of them and make it to the playoffs. With a team that, like, they could make a run. But the O-line is so bad. And again, this is with the injuries. It's so bad. Justin Herbert, he did get a little bit healthier with a rest week. I think there's a lot of benefit, and I think they do have an outside chance. Um, but they do definitely feel kind of like a 7 seed with the, again, just the O line they have. They're not the most talented team. They are a well coached team, but we'll have to see what this looks like from Justin Herbert. But as far as his performance in the playoffs, it's never been spectacular, and maybe he'll get a win in there and upset the Patriots, make Josiah's day. But to me, they're just like they're young. They got a lot of potential. Now you show some resilience, and even getting like a playoff win, that would be huge. But they're not your Super Bowl like favorites or anything.
No.
So they're a good team, and way to make it there. They're kind of more for me clumped in to like that bottom five where it's like you made it to the playoffs. Good job.
At number 9, number 9, I have the 49ers. Um, the 49ers are pretty good, even how injured they are on defense. They've been making up for it. Robert Saleh has been pretty decent as a coordinator. Um, as long as you have the big three, Purdy, Kittle, and CMC, 49ers are pretty much set for the most part. Um, I don't know. It's a lot of like there's a lot of optimism there. I can see why the 49ers are happy. I am a bit concerned just with how injured they are. I don't know if they're going to survive very long. They'll probably beat the Eagles. Should, right? I don't know. We don't know. So I think they have a pretty decent shot at winning at least one playoff game. I don't know about beyond that.
At number 9, you mentioned where there's gonna be like a jump. This is like I have an in between tier kind of here. It consists of
Really?
two teams, and the first one is gonna be the Chicago Bears.
Hmm.
Eh, I mean, you played your starters, still came up short against the Lions, so I have like some concerns there. They're a good team, and I like them a lot. I'm really excited for what they're going to be doing going forward. Years in the coming years, I'm excited to see what they do. But as they start to match up against the teams in front of them, I could put them above the team in front of them, but they just I feel like they have a few too many holes, and they're gonna come up a little short. And again, this is especially if we're grading this on like playoff team rankings versus just how good the
Fair.
team is like play. If you especially if you look at it as a playoff team, I don't think this team's gonna be able to do much of anything. Like maybe you get a first round win against a division opponent in the Packers. Yeah, I think that's pretty doable. But beyond that, this is playoffs, and I mean, Ben Johnson's a good coach. He's not new to the playoffs, but he also hasn't done a lot in the playoffs. The rest of the team, though, has like no playoff experience, like whatsoever. So this team's going to be new. Coming away with a win would be huge. So, uh, again, another team that's like, they're good enough to make a run, for sure. Like, I could see them making a run. I could see them in the conference championship, and I wouldn't be super surprised. But they're not my betting favorite. They're like again, they're a tier above these like these 10 to 14 teams. They're like if they made it past the second round, I would be shocked. This is the tier where it's like yeah they could make it to the conference championship if things go their way and they show up. They could make it. I wouldn't be surprised if they made it to the Super Bowl. I think I'd be a little surprised, but I could see it. Maybe outside chance.
Any-
That's kind of where
Anything's
they're the
possible.
second team in that tier.
At number 8, this is where I have the Bears. I think 49ers and Bears are pretty even, especially after their matchup a couple weeks ago. That was a fun game, from what I've
That
seen.
was a fun game.
Um, yeah, and if this is something that we are to expect from the playoffs, I think both teams have a pretty good shot at making some noise. So I'm going to give them both that credit. But I just think the Bears have a slight edge just because they're, I mean, Ben Johnson's great. I think he's a good offensive guru. It's kind of developed that offense a little bit. They inspire more confidence, at least to me. Maybe it's just because of it's just a new team. Like I have not seen this in a while.
It really feels like a new team.
Yeah, yeah. So this is not the same Bears team that I'm accustomed to. So I think that this is going to be a different year. I don't think they're going to go all the way. I do think they're going to probably win one game. Yeah, I think the one win would be big, especially against their rival. If they do lose the next round, I don't think it'd be too tragic, especially first year with Ben Johnson as their head coach. I think that's a pretty big win in general. So this is where I have the Bears. 49ers and Bears probably same level. I think it's probably what you agree with a little bit.
At number 8, and the other team in this tier that I speak of is going to be the Houston Texans. Because
pulled a fast one. Okay.
I did pull a fast one. I got you. The Texans, really scary defense, except for not quite last week, which was kind of weird. Put up a decent amount of points. They were playing a rival with a backup quarterback. Actually, a third string quarterback. Sorry. Maybe even fourth string. Third string, fourth string.
Third string.
However you look at it.
I think he's third string, yeah.
And rookie, Riley Leonard. And they let up a lot of points. Now, my concern mainly with the Texans is the offense, actually. The last game, that wasn't as much the case. It was more the defense letting up. And again, that has happened a few times in the division games. So if they verse the Jaguars, it's going to be an absolute shootout. But yeah,
I think the Jaguars and Texans game could be fun.
A Jaguars-Texans game would be pretty fun. But, I mean, again, could they make a run? Absolutely. They have that potential, especially, again, with the defense, it's really scary. It's funny because it's like looking at it compared to the Eagles, it's offense that shows no confidence in the offense, but defense is really scary. The difference is the Texans have been winning and winning and winning. Like, they've been on a tear, and their offense hasn't been so in the way that they lose games. That is not... I can't really say that for the Eagles. So, sucks to suck Eagles fans. That's why you're down there. Texans, their defense is so scary that it could win them a championship, despite how bad the offense is. Again, they're kind of in that tier with the Bears, where you're just like, I could see them winning a game, maybe two. If they got to the conference championship, I wouldn't bet on it, but wouldn't be super surprising. Now, if they made the Super Bowl, I wouldn't be like, there's no shot, but I wouldn't guess it either. That's kind of where I have that tier. And then everyone above is like, whether it's oddly enough or not, it is, I can see you guys in the championship and even in the Super Bowl, and that's, for some of them it's weird, but Texans, they're kind of that fringe team where they could like sneak to the Super Bowl with the right path. I mean, starting with the Steelers, that's great. That's a nice start, and then I mean, if you get Jags and if somehow, miracle for the Texans, you get Steelers, Jags, Chargers all the way to the Super Bowl, it's not outlandish. That's all I'm saying. So that's kind of just where the Texans are, though. That defense is scary enough for them to be there.
So for number 7, this is where I have the Texans. I like the Texans, especially the defense. I know it's been reiterated a lot. That offense has shown a little bit more promise recently, obviously at the cost of their defense. But progress is progress. So it's all they really need right now. going to the playoffs. It'll probably be a slugfest between them and the Steelers. Um, Kind of curious to see who comes out on top here, but we'll see. We'll see. I have a little bit more hope in them because of that defense, they can probably shut down entire offensive schemes pretty easily. Um, I guess it's just a matter of time of who they play and how good they really are in the playoffs because we've seen them before.
My number 7 is going to be the 49ers.
Mm.
The oh, it's kind of tough to rank these NFC West teams because they're all really good. Um, I do have them down at 7 with I actually had them move up a little bit with the loss. Yeah, the offense didn't look great against the Seahawks, but the Seahawks have a really good defense. The Rams, really good offense.
Yeah.
Scary. The 49ers, there's the injury concerns, yes, but they have some things put together, not enough for me to feel super confident, but they are a team that the defense is there for sure. CMC's having a good year. Brock Purdy's starting to feel like himself. He's playing well. George Kittle, if you have him the rest of the way, that's going to be really good for them.
Yeah.
They got a scary team. They're not quite. I think between the 3 NFC West teams, there's got to be at least one in the championship.
Yeah.
In the NFC Championship, that is.
Yeah. It's bound to happen.
If we didn't end up with either of them, I would be shocked. Although, is it even mathematically possible to not have them? Hold on, let me before I even, because technically it would be possible, but to not have one in the NFC Championship would be a shock. And I just right now I have the 49ers kind of that bottom tier, and again it's injuries holding them back. We've seen it in years past with them. Yep. And down the road, down the stretch, they struggle too in past years. Is that the case this year? Who knows? But 49ers, they're good, real solid. They're bottom of that Super Bowl caliber potentially teams.
For my number 6, this is where I have the Rams. They've kind of not fallen off the cliff, but they've been regressing, which is not what you want to see right before the playoffs. Sure, you beat up on a bad team right before it. That's fine, I guess. But that game against the Seahawks, that was not ideal at all. So, they're still a really good team, good defense. Stafford's still electric, as he always will be. I guess it just kind of depends on which team's going to show up, really, because they can do it. They can go all the way. This is a team built to go all the way, but they gotta figure out their identity. Otherwise, it's gonna come hitting them right back in the schnoz. Because, I mean, that Seahawks game just showed that they can't maintain a lead sometimes. That's not what you want to do right before the playoffs, and then losing in that kind of a fashion. It's concerning. So they're still really good, giving them their props, but they're just outside of top 5.
Number 6, I also have the Rams here. Yeah, Matthew Stafford, he had a few rough games, but the offense really scary. Devontae Adams, hopefully just getting a little bit healthier week by week, and come playoff time, hopefully is close to, if not fully 100%. But yeah, as a wild card team, they're going to be really scary. They do have to verse the Panthers, which, hopefully they can bounce back, but they're a scary team, scary offense. Their defense, again, some holes there, but they have the veteran presence. They have the weapons. They have the pieces to make the run and be that team. But you're right. They haven't showed it as much of late. There's been a little bit more concern, just a lot less confidence with them. But they are a potentially very scary team if they get it together come playoff time, which is, now they just have to actually do it, starting with the Panthers.
For my number 5, this is where I have the Bills. They are a very hard team to judge. I'm not going to deny it. I know you've been saying that for weeks, but I've also come to the same conclusion. I don't know which team we're going to get right before the playoffs, and I don't know what kind of team they are going to be in the playoffs. This is the first time in Allen's career where he doesn't have Burrow, Mahomes, and Lamar Jackson in the AFC picture in the playoffs. If you want to make a statement, Josh Allen, you got to do it this year. This is probably the best chance you've had ever, because there's always been that one player that's prevented you from going anywhere. It's always been one of those three. Don't make number 4 happen. You gotta go somewhere this year. Like, you can't just fall flat on your face again. However, I'm getting a sneaking suspicion that it's probably going to happen again. I like the Bills, but they're hard to judge because Allen and Cook, great players, but they're the only two on offense that really do anything most of the time. And then you have the rest of the offense who just stands there and just watches Allen do his thing. That 2-point conversion against the Eagles? It was usually Allen makes that throw. That's just a mistake on his part, and hopefully that's the only mistake he will make come playoffs or near playoffs. But this is a team that it makes me want to just go to sleep because it takes so much brain power to figure out what kind of a team they are. But they are a decent team. I do think they can make a lot of noise, especially without the big three to stop Allen. However, there are other quarterbacks that are in the playoffs that can stop you.
My number 5, I'm actually going to have the Patriots here. I don't know. Something about them. I just don't have... like, the game against the Dolphins, sure, wasn't, like, super ugly. I mean, you come out with a win in a game for division. But, like, I don't know. I just don't have a lot of confidence in them. That's kind of been my thing all year, is just not a lot of confidence. Winning these games that don't quite matter yet. I mean, yeah, it gets you to the playoffs and you get a really high seed, but I could see them winning a game. And yes, I could see them, like, if I could see them being a real team and going all the way, but I don't think they have the weapons. Who knows what, like, I haven't seen quite if the verdict has been reached on Stephon Diggs, and if you don't have him the rest of the playoffs, that's really going to hurt your offensive production.
Mm-hmm.
And again, Drake May's been playing great football, but playoffs are not a time, like, it's really hard for a team to rely solely on their quarterback, even if it's just on the offensive side of the ball. So they're going to need to step up in some places before I really move them. But right now, again, quarterback that's not played in the playoffs. Coach's first year at this team. It's just, I don't have I have my doubts. And again, I'll tip my hat to them for the season they've had. Yeah, but I don't know. I'll have to see more before I can feel confident putting them any higher.
So for number 4, this is where I have the Patriots. I know there's so many Patriot fans out there that want to gaslight us into thinking they're a super team. And there's also Patriots fans who are just Drake May fans, which is completely fair. I mean, I like Drake May. However, I don't think Drake May is all that good. I think he's great. He's not a superstar quite yet. He's only going to get you so far, and what you've already mentioned, this is the first time in the playoffs. I mean, we said this about the Bears already too. I mean, if you get a win, good job, but like, are you gonna? Because yeah, especially without Stephon Diggs, it really tanks their chances at winning a game in the playoffs. Um, and they're this entire season, like I know they're good, but their schedule does not really back up that claim that they are a really good team. I mean, you beat up on bad teams all year, and the couple teams you did play that you did win against, especially the really good ones, they were mediocre at best. You, what do you want me to say? Like they're gonna be good. I just don't have a lot of confidence in them, but they will prove me wrong because it's just the New England thing to do. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't I don't trust them, but I trust them a little bit more than the Bills right now, which is weird to say, especially coming from me
Mm.
because I've always been a big fan of the Bills. Finally taking over the AFC East for a while, but the Bills are just
Cons-
inconsistent. Yeah,
consistency, yeah, consistency's key.
yeah, and
Absolutely.
I trust the Patriots more to do something than the Bills do. So you won't be hearing that from me very often. So take it while you can, I guess. So
My number four is going to be the Jacksonville Jaguars.
interesting.
Another team with a first year head coach. Um, Trevor Lawrence, he's been to the playoffs. He's playing really good football.
Yeah,
Uh, last week was no, last week was good. It was the week before that was like a little
yeah,
rocky,
it was the week
but
before. Yeah,
it was a close game with the Colts, and I'll give the Colts that game against the Titans. They cruised, um,
easily.
but I just Jaguars again. They're a team I just don't have the that I don't quite trust in the playoffs.
Yeah,
That being said, again, like they're at all the way up at four because they've won some grueling games. They've won ugly games. They've won against good teams. You know, they've they've really gone like toe to toe with some teams. They've played really good football, and you might be saying, Patriots did this. Patriots have played good football too, despite their like, even though it was not against good competition, they played really good football. And I'm like, true, but there some teams know how only to play well against bad teams. That is like that is the thing. We've seen it in years past where they only look good against bad teams, but come up against a good team they are completely flat, and it's just the the preparation skills are just not the same. And so Jags, I think I have a little more faith in Liam Cohen, which is weird, than compared to Mike Vrabel, at least in their first years at doing something. I do like they've seemed so scary lately. Patriots, I don't know. Again, maybe it's just the bias of the schedule, but I feel like the Jaguars just seem so much more intimidating than the Patriots, and I'm gonna give them a nod here over the Patriots at least. I'm gonna give the Jags the nod.
for my number three, this is where I have Jacksonville. Great team. Liam Cohen has done an amazing job there. This is all without Travis Hunter, which is crazier to think about. Um,
Yeah,
this is this is a team that's probably going to make some noise. I would like them to. It'd be nice to see them back close to the Super Bowl or maybe make it. That'd be really cool. However, there are a lot of things that we can't predict. it's just one of those things where we're just maybe it will happen, maybe it won't, because Jacksonville, like you've stated already, I trust Jacksonville a little bit more because their schedule is more intimidating, especially going to Denver and beating Denver.
Yeah.
I gotta give them their props because you don't do that, at least not this year. So I'm gonna give them what they deserve. So I'll give them number three.
My number three, I'm gonna have the Bills, and it's iffy. They have
It's very
concerns,
iffy.
but I think they're the most proven come playoff time out of the out of anyone. If you take away I mean, you can't really do this, but if you take away if you just look at records and take away how necessarily the entire year looked play wise and everything or recency bias, you just look at records. I think my favorite would have to be the Bills from the AFC, just because they're they've been here. They know what they're doing. Josh Allen is that guy. James Cook's been really good this year. Yeah, you have concerns with your receiving core because it's not been the greatest this year. Khalil Shakir's been really good for them, and they got some guys with Shavers out there. Been he's been helping out, um, but they're just a team, and again we might be looking at the last year that they potentially have a chance at making a run here. But I think they are. I think it's under the radar a little bit in that they're still, I think, my favorite for the Super Bowl. It's going to be tough. I think, honestly, I think they're going to have a really tough test to start in the Jags. I think Bills Jags can be a really good game. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the one I'm most excited for. But Bills, I think they're a really good team who could potentially go all the way. Um, Maybe not the best team, quote unquote, but they are a really, really dang good team who could beat anybody.
My number two, Broncos.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I don't really need to say much. Yeah, their schedule is just as soft as the Patriots. I get that, but they at
Eh.
least beat their really good opponents. I guess. I don't know. They don't. Patriots and Broncos are hard to gauge. You got one team that barely wins their games, and then you have another team that plays easy competition. But we haven't seen them beat a really good team yet. So I don't know which
Yeah.
either of them are, but at least the Broncos have played good teams and won, especially against the Packers. So I don't know. I trust that more.
My number two is also going to be the Broncos. Broncos, really good defense. Offense that isn't consistently good all the time, but is sparks enough confidence in me that they will go and win when they need to. They're well coached. They're able to they can get stuff going on the ground with RJ Harvey. He's stepped up a lot this year, and going into the playoffs, I think he's going to be really scary. Uh, as just a threat, Bo Nix has really seemed to, I feel like, come into his own, and this is a Broncos team that, again, they don't win in the strongest fashion, but
No,
their defense is strong enough to let their off. Their defense is strong enough to let their offense win when it comes down to it, and that's all they really need. And again, the way they're just winning week after week all year. I just have to give them that nod because even though they're not necessarily my favorite, they are playing very well, and I could definitely see them. I mean, there's a reason they're the one seed. It's because they have every right to hold that advantage over the AFC.
all right. Well, I think we both know what's happening here. For number one, Seattle Seahawks. Who knew? Uh, Out of all these teams, they're probably the most reliable. I feel the most confident about them, especially recently. The only issue I have is, Sam Darnold. See how he plays this time around. Granted, last year was his first year in the playoffs, but he didn't have an end of the season collapse this time. That's different.
He didn't. He did close it out.
So
Um,
we shall see.
but yeah, Sam Darnold. Because as you mentioned, my number one is also the Seahawks. Because it has to be. The Sam Darnold played. He played all right. The defense is so scary in Seattle, and that's against against softer opponents. We've seen Sam Darnold in the offense thrive against weaker opponents, at least on the defensive side, or going against the defense. The offense thrive. You know what I mean. Weaker defenses, the offense will thrive. They do great. But
Yep.
when they go up against these tougher opponents, it really comes down to this defense. They almost secured a win against the Rams the first time. Defense pretty much solely secured the win against the 49ers. They play
Easily.
at a really strong level. Mike McDonald, it's his specialty. So can we say we're surprised? No, but
Not really.
what they can do on offense and defense, both sides of the ball. There's some concerns with the consistency of the offense, where it feels like sometimes the offense is really scary. Sometimes it comes up kind of flat, and they have to rely on that defense. But that's a lot of teams, and it's going to be interesting because in a year where, everyone knows the saying, defense wins championships. A lot of teams seem to come in here with a good defense, so going to be interesting to see whose can pull the hardest or whose offense can pick up the minimal amount of slack. But the Seahawks, again, scary. They've earned the 1 seed in the NFC, so it's only fair that they're at least top 2. Will they win? Will they end up the last team standing of the NFC West teams? Who knows? That's what the playoffs are for. But they've done enough to earn that top spot and hold that top spot for a few weeks, at least in my book.
I guess that kind of wraps everything up. Yeah. Thank you all for joining us for this Week 18 Power Rankings. Technically preview for the playoff Power Rankings. But yeah, thank you all for supporting us recently. Again, we apologize that we haven't been, consistent with me graduating college, Will not being in town, us getting new equipment. Also, on top of us not having a studio anymore, we were kind of, messing around with some stuff. But yeah, we're back. And
We are back.
we are back. So, thank you all for joining us. We will see you guys very soon.
Bye.